Well, this afternoon, we're starting right from Parliament. The Speaker, Alban Kingsford-Bagwin, has actually directed the table office to indicate officially on the records that the question for the approval of the adoption of the Finance Committee's report on the E-Levy during last Tuesday's proceedings was actually put after the minority staged a walkout. This follows the omission of the minority's boycott from Tuesday's votes and proceedings. The minority argues this omission was a deliberate attempt by the clerk's office to conceal evidence that may be used by the minority to challenge the approval of the levy after an earlier ruling by the Supreme Court. Now on the floor of the House today, Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Akpenyumakin insisted that the filing out of the minority did not affect the required numbers to take a decision, arguing that some of the NDC MPs were still in the chamber at the time the question was put on the floor of the House. But the Speaker ruled that the question was put after the walkout. Here are excerpts of what transpired in Parliament today.
Transfer Levy Bill 2021 accordingly read a second time. Just in between the 7 and 8, that's where our walkout needs to be recorded. But that was the stage at which we staged our walkout, and it has to be captured appropriately.
Actually, it should come before question put and motion agreed to. Because the walkout happened before I put the question and the motion agreed to. That is the appropriate position for it. So table office kindly correct the records accordingly. Majority Deputy Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, just a little clarification. My respected colleague, the Minority Chief Whip, indicated that they walked out at a certain time. And you clarified the position by saying that the walkout was actually announced before the vote, the question was put. That is correct. What I just wanted to put on record was that although the announcement was made by the minority leader on the walkout, however, the question was put at the time they were proceeding out. Yeah, Mr. Speaker, that's and Mr. Speaker, we don't need to split heads on this matter. Mr. Speaker, we don't need to split heads on this matter. If since they are at the Supreme Court and they say they will take the audio visuals and the videos and everything, when they get there, the Supreme Court will watch. Yes. You know, whatever. I won't fight you over this. But I am saying that at the time the person was put, some of you were still in the chamber walking out. You were moving out. You were carrying your books. You were packing. But I'm not contesting. It doesn't change the issue. It does not. The question, the issue is that at the time you announced the walkout, the question had not been put. And Mr. Speaker is right. However, your walking out was not instantaneous. It took time. So eventually when the question was put, some of you were still in the chamber. Many of them. If you are challenging me, the video will speak for me. Mr. Speaker, that is all.
Is the essence of this submission. You are a leader. You heard me expatiate on these issues. As to when you talk about attendance. So why are you raising this? I actually put the question after the walkout. That is different from attendance to Parliament. They walked out. I am clear in my mind what I do in this house. And I can defend myself anywhere, even in the International Court of Justice. The fact that they walked out did not erase the fact that they were present in Parliament. Just the same way, when you walked out and we came here and continued, the issue of quorum was raised by this side, and that is quorum to conduct business, which needed 92. And that's why I made them count. We should have got 92, and we got more than that, 137. And so that press conference that you held and said we did not form a quorum was said in error of the law. The same thing that you are trying to, don't repeat it. Be guided by this. It's not Supreme Court ruling. That is the ruling of the Speaker, and we go by it. Page 10, I directed that the correct thing be done, and the correct position for it is before the question was put and motion agreed to.
Well, except of what transpired in Parliament now, let's head there and hear from Kwesi Parker-Wilson, who is our parliamentary correspondent. Parker, what else transpired on the floor today?
And Blessed, let me just add that the comment by the Deputy Majority Leader, Alexander Fayoma-Ken, is true that at the time the minority members were filing out, or at the time the question was put actually, some minority members were still in the chamber. In fact, I could count a little over 20 of them at the time in the chamber when the Speaker put the question. But it's been recorded that the question was put after they walked out. But the point again has been made that because the exit of Parliament is very small, the minority members were still taking their time to file out, and that is the position by the NPP caucus, indicating that it doesn't defeat the fact that we still had some of the members in the chamber, but it's an official record that the question was put after the minority has officially announced their decision to stage a walkout, and that has been captured on the record. Now, this morning, Blessed, the minority has been very emotional this morning. In fact, the Clerk of Parliament, Cyril Koblensia, has been under intense fire by the minority. In fact, they've hit very hard on him. Now, three things happened on the day. That is the last Tuesday during the consideration of the E-Levy. One, the minority staged a walkout. The votes and proceedings did not capture that. That's number one. Two, there were about 8 NDC MPs in the chamber. Again, the votes and proceedings indicated that they were absent. And this has infuriated the minority. According to the minority, these are very essential information that should not be omitted from the votes and proceedings. And so this morning, the minority chief, Muntaka Mubarak, went hard at the clerk's office, accusing them of being partisan or perhaps being compromised by his colleagues on the other side, that is the majority side. In fact, he said that the omission of the fact that the minority MPs walked out, and again marking as absent MPs who were actually in the chamber, is an indication that they are tampering with vital evidence which could be used in court if the minority is successful in challenging the approval of the E-Levy. But I must say that the Deputy Majority Leader, Alexander Fayoma-Ken, did also not take it lightly on his colleague on the minority side. He indicated that the clerk of Parliament has been very neutral, very independent, very fair, and so it is highly unacceptable if you accuse him of being biased or perhaps being compromised. That is not the way to go. As leadership, they need to protect the clerk, because the clerk does not have a voice in the chamber. And so if you accuse him, he cannot mount a defense. Even though he was there, when you accuse him, he cannot mount a defense, because per the Parliament standing orders, they cannot speak on the floor of the House. They are not ministers, they are not MPs, so they have no right to speak on the floor. All they have to do is to record proceedings. But the Speaker, listening to the debate, in fact, the Defense Minister also was not happy with the uncharitable words, the unprinted words used by the minority chief whip, and asked them to remain calm and ensure that at least the voting proceedings are corrected. And the third one was about the fact that in yesterday's order paper, there was no item 4. Item 4 essentially is about correction of voting proceedings, and that was also an omission. Minority didn't understand why it has to be so. So in all of the controversy and the heated debate between the two sides, and I must say that the MPs who are accused of being absent, their constituents have been accusing them of probably taking bribes, reason they absented themselves from Parliament during a crucial consideration of the E-Levy.
Right.
So they were unhappy. In fact, they lamented. Some of them said that they were traumatized and scandalized by what has happened.
But Parker,
so
do we know if
the
anything
speaker,
has changed
at the end of the day, listening to all the concerns on the floor of the House, ruled. Hello, Blessed.
I'm asking if anything has changed yet in terms of the official record.
Yes, so the speaker directed the table office and of course the clerk to ensure that the official records are rectified. They should ensure that all the 8 MPs who allegedly or have been alleged to have been absent were present. He indicated that he saw them. In fact, Cletus Avoka sits directly opposite the speaker, and so assuming the speaker is not seeing anybody in the chamber, because he's looking straight, he's going to see Cletus Avoka. So it is incorrect for anybody to suggest that Cletus Avoka was not in the chamber. He was in the chamber, and the record must rectify that he was in the chamber in addition to the other 8 MPs. But there was an appeal from the Tamale North Member of Parliament, Al-Hassan Suhini, indicating that the apology on the floor of the House is not enough. The Public Affairs Directorate of Parliament should be caused to issue a public statement and render an apology with the photographs of the 8 MPs so that they can clear them, because there's this allegation all across social media and of course within the media space that the MPs were compromised. Well, the speaker did not make any pronouncement on that. Maybe perhaps he might direct the public affairs later in the day to do the needful or not, but I must say that the speaker did not make any pronouncement on that with regards to the issue of the public statement. There was another issue about the chieftaincy minister.
Yes.